All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, but especially advanced field command and battlefield tactics. And we are going to have a little bit of an unusual episode here. There will be tactics, of course, otherwise it wouldn't be Tactical Enlightenment. But we are going to be exploring the morale side of Bannerlord. Now, party morale and enemy morale is an intricate part of battle, right? You can have enemy forces rout off the battlefield, and of course, your own troops can rout off the battlefield. And when units rout off the battlefield, obviously you lose control. Now we've got what I consider sort of this is the experimental run here. I'm looking for forces, and as usual, of course, if I take Epicrotia in this campaign, enemy forces show up immediately, traveling to Epicrotia to besiege. So that's a bit of a tall order, 2,000 against our 400 and something, but we do have a powerful army, some high-level troops, some mid-tier troops, and then we do have some lower-tier troops at the bottom. This episode, though, is less going to be focused on tactics and more on morale and how morale affects the battlefield. I'll be talking about it extensively in this monologue. A dialogue can continue afterwards in the comments section, friends. So you get a little view of Zuvon here, and we're going to do a few things to adjust morale. The first battle, we're going to intentionally fight with sort of what I consider low benefits to destroying enemy morale. You can see this bonus called Terror, 20% morale effect to your enemy troops with your two-handed kills. In other words, every time Zuvon kills somebody, there's damage to the enemy morale. Makes sense. He's pulverizing guys into the ground. They don't like that. Here's another one in here under riding skill. Here you go. There's actually two. The top one is for mounted ranged kills. So if you were playing Khazate, you would choose this one. And then the lower one of these two is if you're charging ahead with cavalry and doing hand-to-hand, right? 20% battle morale penalty to enemies with mounted melee kills, right? 10% morale penalty to enemies for troops in your formation, right? So we will be assigning Zuvon to a cavalry division in the second of these two trial runs and seeing if we can take advantage of it. Now this is another one we're going to take advantage of under crossbow. 25% morale loss to enemy due to crossbow kills by troops in your formation. I have one companion in this army that'll be able to help us with that. And then finally, this is one that I'm going to need some assistance from the console menu. It's not something I've used in a while, but it's something that I can break open and I can alter game stats because currently Zuvon does not have this skill, but I want to give him this skill because look at that, 100% battle morale damage to troops when you kill an enemy in battle. This is probably a skill that I will upgrade when he gets to level 56, but as of yet, a few million points short of getting it, we're just going to use the console and use a cheat code. Okay, so similarly, we can upgrade some of these other two-handed units in our army. It's important to understand, though, that this first run, we're not going to be using these. In fact, this gal here is our crossbow woman. She's got this perk to a division that she's in charge of, 25% morale loss due to enemy due to crossbow kills by troops in your formation. She will not be assigned to a captain division for this first run. In other words, this first run is going to be fighting this battle without the use of these morale bonuses or morale destroying perks. You can think of them more as morale destroying perks, and there is a distinction. Your own morale, of course, is when your enemy guys tend to run, and when the enemy's morale starts to get low, their guys also tend to rout. So this first battle in this test tube, we're not going to put this gal in charge, right? We'll just put her in the 4th Division, so we won't be taking advantage of her perk. Now, when we come back, we'll give her a better banner, and we will fight this battle over again. Zuvon will have that additional leadership perk. We'll stick a few more of those terror perks onto some of the companions in these armies, and we'll see if there's a dramatic different result in how the enemy behaves in this battle. Now, there's a chance we lose these battles, but if you're listening to this, it's probable that we're winning this battle or we're going to win this battle, and this is going to be something worthwhile showing you. Now, we're still going to put some tactics in here because it's tactical enlightenment, right? We're not morale enlightenment. We're going to be talking about tactics. So again, Zuvon will command the 8th Corps. What I'm planning on doing tactically in this battle, and this is a brilliant map for doing it, is luring the enemy towards the center of the map, using these high walls on the side, and enacting a bit of a kill box, surrounding them with cavalry and shock troops, hammering them with archers, skirmishers, etc., while they attack We'll probably use a cavalry square here. While hopefully the enemy's sort of distracted, we will pound them with the actual units that are doing offensive work. So Varag here in charge of the 3rd Corps. These guys are quasi-shock troops, so I like to zoom in. This is not a real powerful army, and as such, he doesn't have all shock troops. In fact, there's quite a few scrubs in there, like infantrymen with a shield. That's because we don't have enough good shock troops. We actually have a lot of skirmishers in both the 1st and the 6th. That's kind of interesting, so I'll probably use that to some advantage, right? We can actually use both of these infantry divisions as skirmisher divisions. There's no rules. You can do whatever the fuck you want. That's the beauty of Bannerlord, and we will do that here. So I will use the 2nd Division Cavalry as our distractionary square. They'll be the unit we try to get the enemy to attack, and when the enemy attacks them, we will throw javelins into their throat, into their testicles, into their back, everywhere we want to, and hopefully it causes mass destruction. Now, we need mass destruction here because we're outnumbered 5-1. So at the beginning of this battle, of course, I would like to use that ridge up ahead there. You know, there's definitely advantageous positions to that ridge where you can slow down their heavy cav and pound them with arrows. But our primary strategy here is to lure them into this back valley here. I don't have as many archers as I'd like to have, even with the crossbow division. We have 94 or something, 96, maybe 98 total archers between the different divisions. It would be much more effective if we had, you know, 130 archers here, but we'll see what we can do here. Now, I'm going to be making use also of the RTS mod in these episodes because I don't want this to be an hour-long episode. It may still be an hour-long episode because not only is this a big battle where we're going to fight it twice, and in between, obviously, I'm going to try to show you a little bit of the behind the scenes of how we're altering our army here to make it a more effective morale-killing force. You can see we're sped up here. And of course, I can already hear the purists saying, look at this motherfucker on his horse. Tell me this guy's not cheating. Look how fast he's moving. And I just, you know, I let out a big sigh. It's just like, for fuck's sakes, first it's a game. Who cares if someone's cheating? We're not here to impress you. We're here to instruct guys on how to play Bannerlord, how to help fellas, how to have some fun, how to fight some epic battles. And if someone's using cheat codes out there and it's an epic battle that's entertaining people, who gives a fuck? But obviously here we're not using the cheat codes. We're speeding up the game with the RTS mode, right? And I've already turned it off, hence we're back to normal speed. I'll try to tell you when I do speed it up and slow it down just so you're not confused, but I may not always remember. It's just a nice little quick button I've learned. I can actually assign a key on my keyboard to tell the RTS mode to go into... It's actually a slow motion button, but you can also set it to go faster than normal speed, and hence it becomes a fast forward button. All right, we've got the 6th Corps over there, our cav line up there, hopefully slowing down their incoming cav charge. I've got an infantry division here behind the cav square because I'd love to do some major javelin works as the enemy comes over the ridge. These archers and crossbow are already shooting. Now, in the next battle, you know, we'll have, I think her name is Tessa. Tessa will be in charge of the crossbow division, and she'll be causing a lot of morale damage every time her units get a kill. I don't know exactly how it is, if it's 1 point per kill or something like that, but the bonus, if I remember right, is 25% damage per kill to enemy morale. Again, I don't know what metric they're using, and you can't actually, unless I'm mistaken, you can't actually see the enemy morale. I'm looking around. I remember playing Total War when I was like in the military, and you would see a number, right? It would have like a number above all the units, basically showing you the enemy morale. Well, that's not very realistic, but obviously it's a lot more instructive. I wish there was a cheat code to show you their morale. Alas, I don't have anything like that. So you see our cav line here holding the wheel, or I don't know what I said there. You see the cav line there is holding the line. Our infantry is back here ready to throw javelins. These guys, in fact, are already throwing javelins. We now have a cav line there and a shield wall, or a square, and it's time to commence the killing, right? The damage is coming from all the bolts, javelins, arrows raining down to the valley as the enemy comes over that hill. The enemy vanguard seems kind of hesitant to come down here, but that's smart, right? If you come down here, you're going to get in a maelstrom. And now we start to assign essentially this this channeling tactic, right? We're going to start moving to both sides of this channel. I'm effectively going to move these guys so that the enemy basically comes into a gauntlet, right? And that's actually where the term comes from, right? Run the gauntlet. It actually refers to capital punishment, where they would make a guy run between a whole bunch of enemy soldiers armed with pikes and swords and stuff like that. And then all the soldiers got to effectively get their little stab in on executed prisoners. But this is, you know, this is a form of battlefield run the gauntlet, right? The enemy's chasing after this cav division, and they're being skewered by javelins. You see the javelins flying. There's horse archers up there shooting them. We have 2 archer divisions over here, 1 crossbow and 1 archer division to be more accurate. And obviously the death spam is in our favor, and we need it to be. Now I can screen off this side with the 8th Corps, and what that'll do is it'll slow down the enemy horse archers from really getting around behind us, at least without our guys having some say in that. Get over here, 8th Corps. They're taking a sweet-ass time. 2nd Corps again is down in that valley. We're going to start raining down javelins and shit. The crossbow, unfortunately, is out of ammo, so they become somewhat of an infantry division. I have the 3rd shock troops. At some point or other, I might try to sneak them around behind the enemy and get them to slam into the back of their archers, or even better yet, envelop them. No, shit, I'm fumbling some commands here. Don't dismount. No, they did already. That's all right. Those guys are now dismounted, so I have another infantry division. That's fine. I don't think it's going to matter materially in this battle. The enemy's being very hesitant, and I think I know why. They have a massive amount of archers behind there. So I think the AI is trying to take advantage that we're outnumbered big time with archers. So what are we going to do about it, right? We're not just going to sit here and be shot at, right? We're going to be dynamic. So I've got a line there in shield wall, and I'm going to start dragging this 3rd Corps with a cavalry division behind the enemy here and try to wrap up these archers. I've got this rock right in front of me here to work with. It's a little bit of cover. So watch this shit. Let's get dynamic on these fucks, right? Let's get medieval on their asses. Nah, man, I'm pretty fucking far from all right, man. I'm gonna call some hard-hitting mofos with the blowtorch and some pliers and get medieval on his asses. That's Pulp Fiction for you young guys. It's a great film. You need to go watch it. So we're going to charge with the 1st and the 6th here just to pressure the enemy, make sure that they can't push forward on us. The 8th Corps is now barreling in behind them. That's all cavalry. And right behind them, I'm calling in these wicked shock troops. Come on, boys. Come this way. All these archers are here for you guys to slaughter. The enemy's really being wrapped up now. And now these guys get told, give them hell. In they go bellowing. And they just meet nothing but soft archers with their 2-handed weapons, right? And the death spam is hugely green at this stage. Now, the enemy just charged too, so there's going to be counter death spam. But we're certainly going to cause major damage with shock troops on their archers. Now, I'm not going to just sit back in this battle. I'm still going to fight. But especially in the 2nd battle, I'm going to be trying to kill as many guys as I can because Zuvon has this bonus, or at least he will have this bonus. He doesn't in this episode. It's important to say that. In the next episode, he will have a bonus that increases, or I guess decreases, enemy morale, right? It's going to do major damage to enemy morale when he gets kills. I believe it's that 225 leadership skill that you get this perk, and currently right now in this battle, Zuvon does not have it, right? This is without the cheat code, or however you want to look at it. So I'm still going to whip some ass here because I want these 2 battles to be at least similar sort of participation levels. If Zuvon kills 100 in the 2nd battle and 2 in the 1st, it's not a very accurate test tube. Of course, I find that a lot of battles are very different Bannerlord, so you never can be sure that they're going to look the same, even if you fight the same battle 2 or 3 times in a row. Just truck this legionary, he went flying. But still, oh shit, fucking asshole with his mace. Fucker. We got the last blow in there, but I still think this will be a pretty good idea of whether or not these perks are effective, hugely effective, or not very effective, right? That's the goal of this episode, is to try to figure that out. I haven't actually seen a lot of morale testing, and I should give credit to Mr. Argyle. I've never had him use a different name than that, but he's a regular to the channel, and he suggested this episode. So, of course, we're not pulling over the ridge here. Our archers have a little bit of ammo left. We're going to conduct a little bit of I guess you could call it a reverse slope defense or a peekaboo ridge defense. The enemy's reforming, and we're not going to pour over that ridge into the teeth of their reinforcements, right? At this stage, we need reinforcements. We have very few archers with ammo left, and I'm sort of dependent on those reinforcements to have any chance of winning this battle. Enemy heavy cav is coming in here, which is no problem, right? We'll gather all our guys into a tight knot and obliterate these guys. Fortunately, it's all medium tier cavalry at this stage. None of these guys are elite cavalry, or probably very few, anyways. Equite, I think. Equite, I think it's Equite. They do have a noble there. I'd love to throw the javelin into his back. And of course, that is destructive to morale. I did say I would talk about morale. A lot of morale is sort of opaque, and what I mean by that is you can't really see what's going on because you can't see the enemy morale. Neither can you see your own morale, as far as I know, without mods in Bannerlord, right? And so you're sort of guessing. All of a sudden, units will they will give you an audible cue. They will go, oh, I'm not going to die here right now. You know, your guys will make there's some funny voice acting behind it. Help! They yell for help and shit. And that's your cue that at least some of your troops are routing, right? But it's not easy to tell if and when that's going to happen. And sometimes it surprises you both how long the enemy holds out in a battle where you think they might be routing soon, and sometimes your troops will rout when you're like, wait a minute, we're fucking winning this battle. Now, I haven't experienced that lately because Zuvan, obviously, his armies... one thing I should say is that higher level armies and higher level units tend to not rout ever. I mean, I've had armies that literally fought down to the last guy and nobody ever routed. This is more of an issue mid-game Bannerlord. If you're maybe 200 or 300 days into your campaign, right? 5, 6, 7 years have passed. Maybe it's more of an issue then. So reinforcements came in. I'm just dividing these archers into 2 divisions. I'm sticking some in the 8th Corps here. The enemy's really pounding us with ammunition here, which tells you again that we're outnumbered on the archer side of things. And that's not an easy way to fight a battle in Bannerlord. Pretty much everybody who visits the channel knows that I believe that archers are overpowered, and so when the enemy has more archers than you, it can spell trouble. It's very difficult to overcome, especially in a situation like this. We're outnumbered 5 to 1, right? So we've got 2 shield walls here in the center, just trying to absorb a lot of these arrows, hoping that they don't shoot as many at our archers. Of course, our archers are doing work, and now we're going to start moving this infantry out. Of course, the archers will be moved to better spots than that. I like to manually control frequently where they go. The death spam is quite good. These guys are throwing javelins. That helps. This save game was one of my pre-all javelin saves. And what I mean by that is I'm starting to accumulate some javelin throwing motherfuckers for this all javelin series. So that's why you see so many infantry and not very many archers in our army, right? And especially a lot of guys carrying javelins. So we're moving forward. We're just sort of systematically moving in on the enemy. These guys are firing javelins, and now we come to heavy blows. Let's get both infantry divisions up here. I've got a leading division that's lower. They have less ammo, less javelins, and then this higher division behind them, they're pouring in. The archers can be told to charge here as well. This is a very messy, difficult battle. When you don't have a lot of archers and you're facing a lot of archers, there's not a lot of options. These guys can charge. I see guys just standing there with no weapons or no arrows. Charge. And hopefully at least this battle is entertaining, right? No matter what. A giant battle like this in the snow, there's blood and weapons and shields and fucking guys yelling. It's quite a spectacle. Of course, we are running at 4K. Almost all of our battles on the channel are 4K. What I mean by that is ultra high resolution. So it should be a pretty spectacle, especially if you have the bandwidth to put it at 4K. If you ever see like poor quality Bannerlord, check your connection and then check to make sure that your YouTube window is not playing like 720 or heaven forbid like 480p, right? You're missing out, right? You might as well enjoy these high-end graphics since we're uploading them on here. The power bar just went in our direction, so I suspect this battle is ours. The enemy may even rout here, but we're going to prepare for it, right? We're going to start getting archers on different flanking angles. 187. No, they're not routing. They're reforming. These motherfuckers. In fact, this is difficult, right? This is a dangerous situation. Let's pull these guys back. Let's do this more strategically, right? You're here to watch tactics. Let me show you what I would do here. The enemy effectively has a peekaboo ridge on us if we want to go over here. And because I don't want this episode to be long, we're not going to pull back here. We're going to be the aggressor. Well, how do you attack an enemy with a good defensive position in a peekaboo ridge? Well, let me show you. So we're going to have infantry here in shield wall, and we will eventually push them over. First, we're going to distract with cavalry. I'm sending cavalry over there. Archers are getting into place on the enemy's flank. Those guys are shooting. So we'll get some good crossfire on the enemy. Of course, some of those archers will be shot at, which means our infantry won't be as heavily shot at. Meanwhile, I've got a mix of crossbow, archers, and infantry here, and we're going to start pushing these guys forward. And it's effectively, once you start getting over, then you start forming shield walls in front of the enemy. Now, it's already good death spam because our archers are higher level, I think. You can see the deaths, Britannian, Fiend mauling these guys. And because we've beaten the shit out of the enemy so far, they don't have a huge amount of high-end troops left. Now, the enemy archers aren't really cooperating as much as I would have liked to give you a really good example of how to do this. They kind of peeled off down into the valley, so we'll move this archer division up to the top of the ridge here. But this battle, I think, is a formality. Now, they're swarming our cavalry over there. That's optimal, right? Because those guys will be able to hold out a little bit better than our archers and infantry. If you don't know, like attacking guys on horse, you simply do less damage because you're swinging up, right? I can come through here and just whirly-gig my pole arm, maul them all down. These infantrymen are starting to really fucking obliterate the enemy. We're knocking guys all over the place. This hammer is a joy to wield, kicking guys in the face. But here's something I observe here, and we'll see if this changes in the second battle. The enemy's not fucking routing, right? These are lower level troops, and they're not going anywhere. These guys are fighting to the fucking death. They are charging, although they might have just broke. We'll see. Obviously, they were boring in there, and now they're finally starting to pull back here. We'll see, though, if this is a rout or just another reforming. Again, you know, at moments like this where there's not dramatic shit going on, you're going to see me fast forward at times. I'm going to try not to do it, of course, when I'm swinging my weapon. Obviously, that'll feel weird for you. But those moments in battles where there's just kind of movement occurring and there's not really anything worth showing you, I will do my best to sort of speed things up. I've gotten enough feedback about that you guys don't seem to mind. We will start to do that a little bit more often. Now, what I'm trying to do here is make the enemy rout, because, of course, I don't want these examples to be played totally differently, right? One of the things that's vital to make an enemy rout is as their morale goes down, and I should explain, I'll have a moment here to explain it, but as their enemy morale goes down, if you can kill a few more guys, you can sort of push the enemy over the edge. And what happens when they get to a certain threshold is they rout en masse, right? They rout in huge amounts. So when you see this reforming / borderline running, what you want to do is you want to come in here and just sort of aggressively give them one last push towards the door, right? It's almost like a little bit of momentum. If they want to run that way, let's just shove them from behind. Whoops, and I forgot to tell you we're speeding it up here because it does look like they're routing off the battlefield. Alright, so other things that are a factor in routing here. Something that's a factor is simply death ratio, KDR, right? Your kill to death ratio. When the enemy starts to get close to a 5, 6, 7 to 1 KDR, and by the way, look at this cheating. Look how fast my weapon is. Look at these guys cheating. He swings his weapon so fast. I got to throw in some needles for these guys here that, you know, and fortunately there aren't a lot of trolls, but there's definitely some trolls about. Don't feed the trolls, by the way. So 330 give or took route. So we'll come back and I will reload this and we'll see what it looks like with those perks. So I'm going to show you some parts of this just so you can sort of see the inner workings behind here. This is basically the steps I'm taking to increase our enemy's capacity, or our allies' army's capacity to destroy the enemy morale. So we're going to change a few perks here. I know this is going to take a few minutes. If you want to just skip this, just skip like a minute or two ahead. I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can. What I'm basically doing is respecking however you want to say it. I'm changing the perks, re-perking for Zuvan and a couple of characters, right? We will adjust his two-handed skill. And the reason I'm doing this, of course, is that I want to add terror. I think it's like the 6th or 7th perk here, and the only way to do this is to respec them all. If you don't know how to do this, you just run to the arena. You tell the guy, yeah, I'd like to talk to somebody about changing my skills, and here's terror, right? So we 20% battle morale effect to the enemy basically makes them flee more readily, and then the rest of this I'm just trying to give him all the same perks that I normally do. Similarly, the riding skill, I think it's like the 6th or 7th perk, you get the ability to start severely damaging the enemy morale. If I remember right, you can either damage their morale through mounted ranged kills or mounted melee kills. We are going to... that's not it. We are going to select mounted melee skills because Zuvan's going to wail away at him with his hammer. Here we go. 20% battle morale penalty to enemies with mounted melee skills. And as you can see, it also affects the division that he's the captain of, right? So we'll assign him to a cavalry division next fight or this upcoming fight, and that will have a negative effect on the enemy's morale. The idea here is to see how early we can get the enemy to break, right? Can we get them to break after only killing half their army? From memory, it was about 300 and something, 320 units that routed off the battlefield in that first battle. We'll see if we can achieve a higher number than that. Similarly, Verag, we're going to give him this terror, pick terror. Incidentally, the crossbow skill is also called terror. And again, I think it's like the 6th or 7th perk. And we have one captain for this battle that has that perk. Her name is Tessa. Here we go. Let me show you. So it's the 8th perk, terror. 20% chance... yeah, 25% morale loss to enemy due to crossbow kills by troops in their formation, right? So the troops in her formation, as they shoot people with their crossbow and score kills, it makes the enemy afraid, I guess. I mean, everybody would be afraid getting hit by arrows or crossbow bolts, but certainly that makes sense. Now, here's the one I have to adjust. I got to use... let's see what this... cheat... hold on, I got some paper here that I reference. That's what I have down. Unknown command, it says. So, I apologize here, hold on. God damn it. I apologize there, fellas. Like I said, I've played with this before, but it's been a little while since I've fucked with this. Cheat mode 1. There we go. Engine config changed successfully. Now what I can do is campaign set dot skill. I'm reading this from a paper. Here, I can just click it. Main hero, and then Zuvan, his medicine. 225, right? 225. Oh shit, no. It's not medicine skill. God damn it. I'm sorry. Leadership skill. Here we go. So I think this will now make his leadership skill 225. I don't know, it didn't work. Format is campaign, skill name. Okay, so you just get rid of his name. Leadership 225. That should work. Success, it says. Except it doesn't change. Leadership. I don't know why that hasn't changed. I think it's taken effect. Maybe you just have to refresh it. Okay, you just have to refresh the page. There you go. He now has... whoops. Except I have to assign this perk. And of course, you know, I'd get this skill. I'd get one more attribute point, and I would assign it to leadership, or at least I would assign it to social skills. He now gets this perk through sort of nudging his skills ahead using this console command. So now he's going to cause massive damage to enemy morale by killing people. And of course, Zuvan... discard. What are these horses here? This must be an effect of the this console command too. Let's get rid of this. I don't want to fight the battle with this on. We want... how do you change this off? 0? Okay, engine config changed successfully. I think it's off now. Okay, yeah, so the horses disappeared. So... he's now going to cause massive morale damage to the enemy as he runs around. And I've changed his banner here. Decrease taken melee attack damage. That way his division that he's in charge of also does less damage. So they're damaging the enemy's morale. They're doing less damage while they do so. Or excuse me, they're taking less damage while they do so, right? That's an important thing. If you're going to wade into the enemy with your units, you need to have you know, a good banner like that. Now you could opt for, I would be okay opting for the decreased taken ranged attack damage because the enemy has a lot of archers here. We're definitely going to be getting shot, but either one is kind of fine for this battle here. We saw in the first battle that even with a little bit of sloppy tactics, or at least sloppy with what we consider sort of our standard here, we still won. We should be able to win again. If I don't win this, I'll simply reshoot this. So if you're watching this, more than likely, again, you know that we won this battle. I'm not going to show you a 20-minute slop where I have to refight the whole battle here. I'm trying not to waste your fellas' time. Your time is important to me and to you, right? So I'm changing my mind tactically on what I'm going to do here. And I know theoretically, if it to be a perfect science test, I should fight the battle exactly the same way. I don't think it's going to have a massive effect on the battle, but I'm going to use our ranged troops at the beginning here. So I'm going to assign Zuvan to the 8th. I'm going to try to do major range damage, especially with this gal and her crossbow division early on, right? So she's in charge of the 4th now with her bonus. I need a new 6th Corps. It doesn't really matter too much. Taking melee attack. Yeah, that's good because we may use them in a square. So we've got 3 infantry divisions, the 1st, 3rd, and 6th. We've got 3 cav divisions. One of them is a horse archer division, the 7th, although there's only 5 guys. And I can't really set up until we get there, so I'm just going to kind of start this and I'll be able to explain it kind of as best I can once we get going here. You know, again, I like tactics to be part of these episodes. I'm not just going to... otherwise, I could just tell you in a 20-second video, yes, it works, or no, it doesn't work. Yeah, don't bother with these perks. You know, we're going to try to include some tactics in every episode, virtually. Some kind of battle. Trying to feed the battle monsters out there. You guys fucking love a good battle. You guys love a little profanity, evidently. It's highly popular, so I'm going to keep on fucking swearing. What's nice is I don't have to fake this shit. I already have a potty mouth from the military and the fire service, so it's one of the best things so far about YouTube is that I can just be myself and you guys are digging it. So 2 different infantry divisions. They're really skirmisher divisions, right? Because we saw in the first episode these guys have a lot of javelins. And what I'm going to do here is form a tiered defensive units, right? We're going to have heavy cav split up by shock troops with heavy cav behind them. Here's my theory. As I stretch out my archers here, I'll explain it to you. I want the first line of cavalry to take sort of the blunt of damage from the enemy as they charge in, throw javelins and shit like that. And then the shock troops in between, of course, because they can help in melee. Then behind them will be the 8th Corps, the division that Zuvan is in charge of. So the first 2 divisions, the infantry division and the 2nd Cav division, can slow down the enemy. And as the enemy is slowed down, then we can assign the 8th division. And here we go again, right? With my cheat codes, Zuvan's. We're using cheat codes to swing his hammer really fast. You know, we're badass cheaters. No, it's just the RTS mod. Sorry there, fellas. So I finished in that point. So then the 8th Corps can get a lot of kills, hopefully, in that configuration. And that will, of course, cause morale loss for the enemy. Obviously, it's bad for the enemy to lose flag bearers and commanders and stuff like that. Tail Worlds has hinted at stuff like this, although we really can't see under the hood. Unless somebody has, like, the code to the game, we can't really know how much that kind of shit affects the game. All right, so 5th Corps here. These archers here, I'm trying to be patient because we don't have a lot of archers. So I want their units to come over this ridge more. It'll probably be cavalry and horse archers first. I don't think they'll commit their infantry right away. But I'm holding fire here, right? I don't want to just shoot 300 arrows and throw javelins in the dirt at 6 horse archers. We're trying to be patient. The enemy's starting to roar, that's usually a sign, and that's the immersive battlefield mod. The enemy's starting to roar, that's usually your sign, right, that they're getting aggressive and being told to charge. These fucking pesky horse archers here, I guess I can try to beat a few of these guys down. Any kills that Zuvan gets is good, right, because that means he's going to be, each kill, he's damaging enemy morale. You've just got this terror out there killing guys, and naturally it does damage to morale, right? Like to kill this noble. There's historical preference to this. That noble got smoked by a javelin. A lot of times when a king or a high-ranking general would get killed in a battle, it would cause a rout, right? Because suddenly they're devoid of their leader. Napoleon obviously never died in a battle, but had he have died in one of those battles, I'm pretty sure the French army would have fucking started to break down. Now, they did have other good marshals. Marshal Oudinot, they had several really good marshals in the Napoleonic era, of course. But, you know, when you lost your main leader in a battle, a lot of times that was death and disaster for your army, right? Because they were sure that whoever was second in command wasn't going to be as good as you. So far, so good. Here comes their infantry vanguard. This is going to be a little harder to deal with. I can square one infantry division, place the other skirmishers at them so that they're throwing javelins here. They're getting pounded by archers, of course. But again, just like the first battle, we're massively outnumbered here. Now, what I'd like to do is truck these guys with the 8th Corps, right? Run them over, and what does that do? The melee attack damage of this division damages the enemy morale, right? So not only is Zouvon doing damage in this circumstance as we truck guys, but kills to our division. This 8th Corps running through the enemy archers is damaging their morale. Now, lots of death occurring here. That horse, that cav division that was holding the line there got smoked, predictably. Can't hold off against this many troops. But this is good. The enemy archers are trying to get some distance, so we're just going to chase them down and truck as many of these motherfuckers as we can, right? This 2nd division is causing massive damage. It's not the 2nd division. This 8th division that's following me is causing damage. The skirmisher units can be told to charge, and basically here I'm just trying to cut down as many guys as I can until my health starts to get vulnerable. Zouvon has elite armory, I always say army. Zouvon does have an elite armory, but he also has elite armor. And of course he has a decreased taken melee attack damage banner, right? So there's virtually no character in Bannerlord that sort of takes less damage and is more survivable than this current situation. And it helps, of course, that he's on a fast horse. Now, I want to continue to run through these archers, but not without support, and they're over the other side of the ridge, so we're going to pull back. I'm going to smash a few more of these guys just because I have plenty of health, but I'm getting my cavalry out of here. We're backing up our handful of last infantry, and we're going to regroup. We will get reinforcements soon, and I'm kind of waiting for that. You can see we've pushed their infantry out of here for the most part. Their infantry still has bits and pieces that are regrouping. The death spam is highly green. If there's any infantry left here, I'm going to smoke them. I like fighting on foot. Of course, he's getting more enemy morale damage by fighting on horse. I wish there were more bonuses for foot commanders. I mean, in real life, of course, most of your military commanders are mounted. It's extremely rare. Maybe the Vikings or some shit would be on foot. You can see more on a horse. You're safer on horse. You can run away on horse. But it's just much more visceral to be in the pits with the troops, right? We're just down here like the rest of these fucking average men. Maybe it's because today we value things like equality and shit like that. We like to have all of our men sort of fighting at the same level, but I just find it more viscerally pleasing too. Just smoking these cavalrymen with javelins, right? They're just getting absolutely railed on. Now we can use their own horses here to block their charge attempt and then crush them. It's just so fucking pleasing, right? And then you jump up to their noble level and crush them off their horse, right? Just fucking smash them in the face. Take that, noble line. It's so satisfying. Got a javelin for you bitches. Get off your horse and join us. Got the 6th tier in a square. I've got a cav division also in a square, and that's because I want this enemy cav to effectively run into all our units, get slowed down, and then we'll kill them. Once enemy cav is not moving, these guys are absolutely fucking dead men, right? We can open fire now. They all get fucking scorched by our last handful of volleys here. And massive deaths ensues. And this is one of the critical parts about getting the enemy to rout, is causing major death waves for the enemy, right? Where they have a 10 or 15 to 1 death to kill ratio, the opposite of what you'd expect. They have 15 of their guys die for every one of theirs that they kill. Very destructive for morale. Move out of the way, horse! God damn it. Fucking horse. And that wave of cavalry just broke like fucking water on rock. There's still a handful of these pathetic cavalrymen left. These Imperial Equi. I find these guys some of the most pathetic units in the game. They just break apart like fucking fine crystal. You can knock them off their horses easily. They seem to make more feminine and ignoble sounds when they die. You know, just a ooh or ah, you know, they scream like a gal. I don't know. Maybe it's just my imagination, but these guys, it's very fun to destroy. They're wearing those stupid fucking helmets. Their helmets look like a dog bowl put up upside down on top of their brain. Kill that fucking cataphract. Alright, what is this? Oh, okay, we just got massive amounts of reinforcement. So the 5th, what do we got here? The 5th, 4th, 6th. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. I think it's time to show you guys another tactic here, because the enemy has a massive amount of archers and they're in no interest and no mood to come after us. And we don't have enough archers to joust with them. So what do you do here, right? We're outnumbered 3 or almost 4 to 1 in archers. Make them come to you. Let's tuck them up in this little ridge up here. So what we're going to do here is basically create a situation where their enemy has no line of sight and they're forced to come to us, right? When the enemy attacks you like they did in this case, I'm going to consolidate the 7th into the 8th because we'll use them at some point. We're going to stick all of our units. Yeah, they're not coming at all. We might have to get completely out of sight. We are going to stick our units up in this little cranny up here, this little nook, so they have no line of sight. Obviously, I'm using the RTS mod here again. I'm trying to speed this along so you guys aren't bored to death, and also show you this tactic. So we're pulling up into this ridge here to force the enemy to come around the corner at us, right? They have to come to us. It's like a sideways peekaboo ridge. These fucks are shooting, even though they can like barely see our guys. Motherfuckers. I might have to tuck these guys in with squares. We'll see how stubborn the enemy is here. Of course, the enemy's getting waxed in this battle, so the enemy's AI is trying to figure out some way that they can sort of turn the tide here, and we're not going to let them. Now, if this is a human opponent, they would go you would hope, they would go all the way to the other side of the ridge and start cornering us and pounding up there. It would be difficult for them to pull off, and obviously I would try to counter that. But the AI is definitely not smart enough to do something like that. They're going to try to slowly get an angle on us here and shoot at us. Fucking dipshit. Get in position where the Jarl says. Fucking disobedient troops. You know what we're going to have to do here? The enemy's so intent on shooting at us, we might have to form squares and nudge up against the rocks here. It's kind of awkward, but this is something that's valuable for you guys. I'm going to show you this anyways. I'm not going to speed through this or edit this. The enemy's around the corner like that and they're shooting at you and you don't have either out of ammo or you don't have enough archers. You see that? They have 400 archers. I've tucked our units against the wall here and now they have to come around this corner. The AI is forced to come around because they attacked us. Look at this one dipshit they're shooting at because he didn't get into position. Do what your Jarl says or I'll kill you next time, you stupid fuck. Alright, now we're dragging the 8th Corps because it's time to destroy this unit. This enemy force here. Let's get our cavalry pushed around the flank of the enemy here. We're going to bring up, of course, a skirmisher line in shield wall. We'll spread our archers out as soon as they're vulnerable and unleash hell. The key to this is quick movement, and then getting some cav in on their archers to cause carnage, right? If you got cav running through, even if it's 20 guys like this, right, it's going to knock guys around, it's going to interrupt them, and that's a huge advantage here. Skirmishers in front, our archers are starting to rain down to the units in the valley here, and it's time to bring the 8th Corps around behind them. I have almost a full health bar, so I might lose my horse, but I'm going to wade right the fuck through here. I'm interrupting guys, I'm killing guys. Of course, that's decreasing morale. They're all busy and occupied, so I'm just pounding guys. Oh shit, now I'm in trouble. I got the 8th Corps now. We're not in trouble at all. I got a ridge here to hide behind. Come on, time to eat, 8th Corps. Oh, you want some noble? In fact, I need a horse, so thanks for bringing it to me. It's Instacart for medieval era. Yeah, I'd like a horse, and they're there in like 2 seconds. All right, 8th Corps comes in behind me here. The skirmishers are told to charge. Time to... Oh, shit, I jumped too high. Oh, shit. And we're going to bore in here and just cause carnage to this force. We're just going to run around with our cavalry here so that nobody can shoot. Everybody's got a big fucking smelly horse ass in their face. Pound some bitches in the face with our hammer. And the death spam is almost entirely green. Let's square the 6th. No, not mount horses. Square, motherfuckers. The enemy is getting scorched here. And you see how effective this was, right? Instead of coming and doing what the enemy wanted, we now have all the initiative, all the advantage, and we're going to pursue and destroy as many of these archers as we can. Let's move these other archers to flanking angles since the enemy's pulling back. I've got the 8th Corps following me, so these guys are racking up melee kills, right? These guys are like swinging. I see that Consguard swinging his fucking pole arm at guys. I can see some of the death spam. Khazate Consguard killed a guy. Khazate's Consguard, Hardened Brigand killed a guy. We know empirically that this is damaging the enemy's morale. At some point here, given the beating of this second battle, the enemy may just fucking turn around and get out of here. They're being throttled. We're moving up archers expeditiously. Our skirmishers are boring into them on the other side. Every archer is getting bitch slapped to the ground or knocked down by a horse. I mean, these guys are having a bad day. Now, they've got archer reinforcements coming up shooting at us, so we'll have to take some cover here. But man, have we dealt this division a black eye. And that was sort of a textbook situation, how you deal with an enemy trying to... It's effectively trying to pursue a peekaboo ridge tactic on you, right? They're sitting at the ridge, and they want you to come over and charge them because you have no ammo, and we're not going to do it. It's obviously different if you have to attack there, and I've run episodes on that as well. If you're the aggressor, you have to attack. That's a different scenario. But here, they're the aggressor. We make them fucking play our game. I'm going to get off here. Let's bring the 8th Corps behind me. We'll put these guys in front of me. A little shield and shock. It's the shield division is the 8th Corps, like 10 guys, and I'm the shock division, right? Zuvan. Fuck you. Let's do this shit. These guys are going to get killed. That's okay. We're going to distract a lot of troops as our units bore in here. I didn't know they'd have this many melee. I thought their melee would be charging up. It looks like they're intent on defending their archers. It's alright. Zuvan can slug their fucking infantry down too. Fucking dipshits chasing me. The enemy has to be getting close to routing. In fact, it looks like they may have just routed. Maybe they won't rout. I'm surprised they haven't routed yet. Whoops. Sorry for the first-person perspective. That was a finger fumble. We're bringing our units up here. We don't have a lot of units at this stage. I think we need reinforcements, but we're not going to stop our charge now, right? We've got... Hold it! Oh, he gets fucking smoked. That's one of my favorite things in Bannerlord, is when a commander is giving commands, or a lord. All units move for... Oh, he gets fucking crushed. I absolutely love how it breaks the sound off and gives the guy yells his death fucking cry. All units get ready to charge. It's fucking great. Well, they're in that quasi-routing stage, right? These guys definitely haven't routed off the battlefield. In fact, my horse is going to get killed by one of these spear motherfuckers. I'm not careful here. But they're very close to routing, right? I'm going to stay on them here. I still have half my health bar. Oh, shit. Damn. My horse went flying. These little peasants are swinging their weapons at me. But I think this battle's over. They're sort of heading for the exits. They're half defending and half heading for the exits. Yeah, all of a sudden they put their shields down. This battle's over. It's amazing effect. There's like ice here in the valley, and so there's all these reflections coming off it. In 4K, this game is unbelievably beautiful. Yeah, this enemy has routed. All right, so we'll look at the numbers here and see how different it was. It feels different, right? It definitely feels like more troops here, but I'm surprised that not more routed. In fact, it looks like it's about 600-ish troops, so about twice the troops routed from that first battle. Now, we were more successful in the second battle, so I actually thought more troops would rout, but 600 and something routed the second battle, whereas again, I think it was about 300 the first battle. So, what's my conclusion from this, right? Well, this is hardly empirical. This is what scientists would call anecdotal evidence, right? A singular or very few data points to make your scientific theorem valid. No one would say that this is a conclusive study here, but my hunch is that it is effective, right? If you focus on destroying the enemy's morale, we probably should have killed that guy with his flag earlier. But if you destroy the enemy's morale, they will break earlier. And I can tell you empirically that if you don't have good morale for your own army, you will have issues, right? Even with cheat codes, with my incredibly fast swinging axe here, or hammer here, with the RTS mod, you know, we still couldn't make the enemy rout more than half their troops. Anyways, we're going to wrap this episode up. I appreciate you fellas for supporting the channel. I appreciate the suggestions. Again, this entire episode was suggested by one of you subscribers. I will admit there's a backlog of videos leading up to the... look at these guys, still want to fight. They routed off the battlefield and still want to fight. We're not going to fight here. I think I'll just auto-resolve it. It actually doesn't matter. This save game doesn't mean anything towards the campaign, so we'll just send troops here and I can finish my spiel. I appreciate you fellas. Again, this episode was recommended by a subscriber, a regular visitor to the channel. And if you guys want to see something specific, right, I'm all ears. If you want to see a certain test or something like that, as long as it's not incredibly boring, like this was a nice fun battle to fight, I will give it a shot, fellas. I will do my best. I will upload an episode, and hopefully it's something that you guys enjoy. So, I appreciate you, fellas. Please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, of course, from our channel and get notifications. And at a minimum, I ask you guys, unless you hated it, please hit that like button. I appreciate you, fellas. Please leave comments, all that kind of good stuff. And I will see you guys next time.